From Concord University in Athens, West Virginia, this is Mountain Lion News.
Hello and welcome to Mountain Lion News. I'm Leah Gilpin.
And I'm Kiana Johnson. Abracadabra, a children's television show produced in West Virginia, has earned one of the greatest awards in broadcasting, an Emmy. Held in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, the Ohio Regional Valley Emmys celebrated excellence in broadcasting. John Hale, head of video graphics and videographer for the show, says that the show is sending a positive message to children that will help encourage them to eat right and exercise. The cast members of the show are all outstanding individuals who make working on the show an enjoyable experience. It always feels nice when you know that a show that brings out the magic in everything is being recognized for all the hard work that is put into it.
Last Tuesday, the Concord University Theater Department had auditions for Arthur Miller's The Crucible. We talked to the director of the play, Karen Varanch, about the historical classic.
It's a very famous play. It was written in the 1950s by Arthur Miller. It's a historical play about the Salem witch trials, where some young women accused people of being witches in the town, and there was a huge reaction, and it was quite extreme, and many people were killed. It's an actual historical event. Auditions went really well. We had over 30 people audition, and there's 22 roles. So I had to break some hearts, which doesn't make me happy. I picked this play specifically because it had so many roles. I'm happy that we have a really quality cast, and we're going to put a wonderful show on. The show is November 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th.
As the leaves begin to turn brown and the air begins to get cooler, that only means Concord football is making its way back into Callahan Stadium. Joining me at the desk to discuss this upcoming football season is head coach of the Mountain Lions, Coach Paul Price. Coach, how are you doing today?
Very good, Riley. Yourself?
Doing great. For coming off a 2-9 season and being projected again as the last place finish in the MECs, really big test for a head coach like you entering your third season. What steps have you taken to make sure Concord gets back to its winning ways of old?
Well, I really feel like it's people. You know, if you get the right people in the right place, anything can get done. And we've restocked our shelves with a couple of new coaches since the spring. And, of course, we've got around 70 new incoming players to make our situation much more competitive than we were in the previous season. So we think when you combine those two things, it really starts with people. And we've got the right people now.
It's a good way to roll with it. Now, you being a former defensive coordinator here at Concord, that has to be a big focus for you being with that. Defensive backs was a big highlight for last year as a key point of the team's success, especially with the win over UVA-Wise last year, where a pick six was the only score of the game. Tell me what kind of things have been implemented towards the defense to making it where it is from last year.
Well, I was defensive coordinator for the previous 5 years, and frankly, we had some very good years. As you remember, we made the Final Four, conference champions 2014. And really from that time, we've kept the defense pretty much in the same scheme. And I felt it was a time to, upgrade things, to bring things, give everyone just a little different look. And we brought in a former Mountain Lion by the name of Kevin Elliott to come in and revamp our defense. And he has done a wonderful job since the spring. And I mean, there's fundamentals that are always going to be the same with defense. We're going to pursue, we're going to tackle.
Of course.
We're going to keep everything in front of us, make a lot of wins on third downs to get off the field. But, how we get there and what we do, I think, is kind of brought into the modern era with the return of Coach Elliott. So I really look forward to a big year defensively.
For sure. Now, on offense is where the big question mark is going to be. Offense averaging less than 16 points a game last season. It's got to be a big crutch. Have you implemented any new formations or schemes to exploit your players' big set?
I think that's a good question. And I think the last 2 years has been, defensively we have been pretty solid. But the offensive end of it has been, for me, a real challenge. And once again, it's people. And we've got a returning quarterback that has had a lot of experience. He started 7 games as a freshman last year. You hate to play a freshman that much, but the good news is he becomes a sophomore and he has experience. So that part of it was really good. We also have a transfer that has come in from University of Tennessee, Martin, who has been very competitive here early in camp. So between those two, the guy that touches the ball all the time, he's pretty good shape. The quarterback spot is going to be vastly, I think, improved. We have Tywan Pierce, Brandon Plyler. These are two guys from last year that had good years, and they were still sophomores, and now they're rising juniors, and Brandon's going to be playing his third year. So we feel that we got some experience there. At the running back spot, we got some newcomers, but they're very talented. And Chris Copeland and Josh Maxwell are two very good football players that are going to be young, but they do have an offensive line that's very seasoned. We've got 3 upperclassmen there that, with Derek Dressler, who leads, anchors that line at center, and, Jack Skidmore, also a senior, playing guard, and Nathan Toney at tackle. These are all guys that have played a lot of football for us. So if you have it up front, we feel like we have something it's going to be real. And again, our best teams here, while I've been here, have always been anchored by solid offensive lines. We feel we're going back to that, and that's a great place to start, a great place to make some money offensively.
Absolutely. I'm a big believer in the trenches being a big part of a great offense, personally. Now, as you mentioned before, you added a few new coaches to your staff. Can you tell me a little bit about them so far?
Well, of course, I mentioned Coach Elliott. Kevin played here and was part of the 2014 semifinal team. He was a full-time coach with us for 2015 and went away to the University of Louisville for 2 years as a graduate assistant. Wanted to see the big time and how things operate on that level. And after a couple years there, he decided he really wanted to get back to coaching, where when you're a graduate assistant at the Division I level, you don't necessarily have a room which you run. You do a lot of tasks, you learn a lot of football. And he wanted to get back to the game, in its grassroots. So he came back here, and he's made a big difference. Josh Zettergren is our offensive coordinator. He has been here for a year, and we kind of brought him along and groomed him for the past season. And it feels like it's so much more stable because you have the guy running the ship has been here for over a season, and that's been a big problem for us here is just retention of people. And a lot of people have gone on and taken, much better jobs and moved up the ladder. And that's not a problem at Concord. It's a problem in Division II, where if you have guys that have been successful, they can move to the next level. And they're young, and that's what they want to do. And so we've finally got it nailed down. We've got our 2 coordinators have been involved in our program now for some time, and that's going to make a big difference.
I believe so. Now, final question for you. What has been the big thing you've been preaching to your players and been focused on this offseason? And could you name any standouts so far in camp?
Well, we've just said, we really are better than our record has shown, and we've got something to prove. That's kind of been our battle cry this camp, and it's really taken root, I think, with a lot of the returning players. They are now coming into their own. And where they are juniors and seniors, and they really understand the game. It's happening very comfortable for them. It's unraveling in front of them where they can see the game better, and it's making a big difference. I think Tywan Pierce, he's only a sophomore, but he was first-team kick returner. Very exciting player, very explosive, and can move the ball downfield. And I think that's just what our offense needs, is to have a little explosion with it as far as that goes. I think Justin Noble on the defensive side, the big 6'5" defensive end, he played a little basketball in the offseason with our basketball team. Didn't play much, but the conditioning that he was exposed to, I think, helped him recover from a knee injury that he had 2 years ago. And he's just a much better player because of that. So we look for big things out of Justin. And Zach Malone is, he's 9th on our list here at Concord, all-time in tackles. So he has steadily moved up the ladder the last 3 years. He's had 100 tackles every year.
Very impressive.
And been all-conference all that time. And just a steady Eddie player. And I look for him to have a great year. He's been healthy, and usually the injuries, because he plays so hard and puts his body through so much that he usually gets banged up even in camp. But he's been completely healthy. Knock on wood. We hope that that'll be a big difference. So I think a combination of explosiveness on offense and old school sound defensive play can bring us back to where we want to be.
That sounds good. The Mountain Lions will open their season September 1st on the road against West Virginia Wesleyan, and we'll have the first home game of the season the next week on Thursday, September the 6th. Coach Price, thank you for stopping by, and good luck to you in the Mountain Lions for this upcoming football season.
Been my pleasure, Riley. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Riley. Coming up after the break, we have a special interview with MLN's Babe Murphy, so stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Bay Murphy, and if you're a student or faculty member here at Concord University, then I'm sure you've been seeing the new Concord U logo around campus. We're sitting down today with Director of Alumni and Donor Relations, Sarah Turner, to discuss the new marketing campaign here and what it's all about. Thank you for coming with us today, Ms. Sarah.
Thanks for having me.
So just start by giving us an overview of the new campaign.
Well, it's been a while since Concord's had a marketing campaign, so this is about a 12 to 18 month campaign we're rolling out, and it really is just focusing on what makes Concord great, the great thing about Concord, and that's you, that's the people that make it up. So that's really the main goal of this campaign.
Okay, so in what ways can the students help contribute to the campaign?
There's a couple different ways that students can help out. You know, we're using everything from print pieces to social media pieces to a lot testimonials, a lot of different ways that we're going to be using people in the campaign. And so if students are interested in participating in the campaign, we would love to have them. But also if they maybe don't want to, get in front of a camera or do something like that, they can help promote it through social media. We've got a Facebook photo frame. We've got the hashtag we're trying to put everywhere. We've already even had a contest for students, kind of trying to get them to get involved with promoting it on social media. So that's an easy way. And then also we will be having some campus events, like the first day of class, we gave out t-shirts and buttons. And just when you see stuff like that happening, come by, support it, and be at those events is kind of an easy way to do it.
Yes, and what was the hashtag again?
It starts with you.
It starts with you. You hear that, students? So along with the main goal, how did you say aligns with the mission here at Concord University?
Well, really, the mission is kind of broken down into three basic areas. And the first is to provide a quality education, and we feel like by highlighting the students and great things students are doing, that will showcase what kind of great education you can get at Concord. The second piece of it is really ties in with faculty and staff and kind of how they are involved with promoting scholarly activities. We've got so many faculty that are doing amazing things. We've got a great staff here that helps keep this place going. So that's how faculty and staff will be able to by featuring them, that will help kind of focus on that part of the mission. And then the last part is where Concord really is here to help serve the regional community. And we feel like by highlighting our alumni and the great things that they've been doing, locally and internationally, that will really show how they are meeting Concord's mission by being out and about in the community and taking the education they learned here and doing great things with it.
Thank you for coming with us today, Ms. Sarah.
Thanks for having me.
This campaign sounds like it's going to do a great job at showing Concord pride, and I encourage all the students to get out and participate. So a special thank you to Ms. Sarah for sitting down with us today. And back to Mountain Lion News.
That's all we have for Mountain Lion News this week. I'm Leah Gilpin.
And I'm Kiana Johnson. We'll see you in 2 weeks.